Welcome to the land cover apps for the Living Atlas. The first land cover app that we are going to explore is the Sentinel-2 Land Cover Explorer. Sentinel-2 is a program of the European Space Agency that began in 2014. Sentinel-2 is the latest iteration of that program. The satellite imagery collected by the Sentinel-2 program is a 10 meter by 10 meter pixel resolution. Then the data from the satellite imagery is created into a land cover data layer. To learn more about the data layers associated with this app, simply click on About the App and it will tell you about uh, the app and what you can do with it. But more importantly, it tells you about the data that is feeding the app. As I said, the Sentinel-2 10 meter land cover land use a time series. And if we click on this, this is going to take us to the data in ArcGIS Online and is taking us to what's called the item details page. The item details page provides us the metadata for the data that's being used so that we can better understand what it is that we're looking at when we use the app. So you can see that this is saying that it's a layer displaying global land use and land cover derived from the Sentinel-2 imagery at a 10 meter by 10 meter resolution. It tells you the years that are available with this. And importantly, it also tells us the land use class definitions that we're going to be seeing on the map. So looking at the app description and the data description can help us better interact with the app and let us inform what types of things that we can be looking at when we're using this app. So let's get started using this. So here we're zoomed into a particular a place on Earth. But let's say that I want to just go to a location that's a little bit more familiar to me. I'm going to use, again, my institution's address and come in here to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where we can see where our campus is located. And right by our campus, we have what's called Wildwood Park, which is here, which is a system of trails and a nature center and things like that. And then you can see the intersection of I-81 and 322 here. So when we look at this map, we can interpret it by looking at our different classes here. And we can see that we're looking at a lot of red and green in this particular view. And we can see that the red is the built areas and the green is the trees. What's really neat about this is we can even just isolate any one of these classes simply by clicking on it, and it will remove all other classes. And that can be really helpful when you really just want to look at one a particular class to see the expanse of that class, and in this case, the built area. To deselect it, you just simply click on it again, and it'll take the map back to where you were. So this helps you better understand the different classes. If you just sit here and hover over them, it'll give you definitions of each of the classes so that, again, you better understand the data. And then within the view, it is telling you the land cover total. So it's saying that 61% that's within my view is in built area. Now I'm going to go to a little bit of a different place, a place that's a little bit more rural. And I'm just going to go to a place in the upper Dauphin County called Millersburg. And this is a more of a smaller community than Harrisburg. And we can see a lot of different types of things here. And we can see that there's a lot of farmland and cropland here. And one of the interesting things that you can do at any different location that you see in your view is if you click on anything, it's going to give you what land use classification it was in previous iterations of the data set. So this is really great if you want to see how a pixel has changed over time. You can actually use this to look at that. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to find one that in this area that shows different categories here, but they can, and that's kind of just an interesting thing to look at to see again what has changed in the years between 2017 and 2024. So that's what this area does for us. Over here, and I'll probably come back to um, these are two different ways of sharing your map. Oftentimes, you might want to screenshot to put it into a Word document, a PowerPoint presentation, what have you, and just simply click on this, and it will create a screenshot and allow you to download uh, that particular screen, which is really nice. Alternatively, you can just copy the link, and you can share that link with a colleague, or you can even just embed that link into a learning management system. As you'll learn later in this course, embed it into a story map, what have you. So lots of different opportunities there. But let's get into like some of the crux of the app and the areas that I really quite like about the app. And the first is looking at the animate, because this allows you to look at change over time between 2017 and 2024 simply by clicking on the animation, and it will slowly work you through the animation. And again, my patience level isn't always the best, so I tend to move the dial manually so I can see changes. And I picked a poor area up here because not much has changed in this area. Perhaps we'll go to a different area. Let's go to the Salton Sea in California. Excuse me. So here we are at the Salton Sea, which is just south of Palm Springs in California. And again, if we want to see change, we can just move our little item here to start seeing change over time. And maybe if I hit the right button, it would do it for me. There we go. So you can kind of see the change that's happening. Now that we have the animation, we can slow the speed down or speed it up. And I tend to like them to be a little slower so that it doesn't make me too dizzy. You can also just copy the link again for the animation that you can embed in a story map, a website, PowerPoint presentation, whatever you want to embed it into. And then you also have the ability to download the MP4, and you come over here and you grab whichever resolution that you want, and you can then download that to your computer, and then that video can be uploaded into your learning management system. It can be embedded into or created into a YouTube video, what have you. So you have some links or some options there for in terms of creating animations. And I'm going to click stop there, so it takes me out of animation mode. And again, like you can see what the Salton Sea looks like in this area. And if you click on any place, again, you're going to see what it was like previously, if there's been any changes throughout. And again, you're seeing the land cover totals for this screen. The next area to mention is the swipe area, and this allows you to create a swipe tool for between different years. So you set the before and you set the after, and then you have your swipe so you can easily see changes. And I tend to like the swipe better than animate because it allows me to see changes a little bit more distinctly. And the neat thing about this is that you can download this as a GeoTIFF, and you can publish it to ArcGIS Online, which I'll talk about in a moment. To get it off the swipe tool, you just simply click animate, and it takes you back to that. Now, talking about download the GeoTIFF and or publish to GIS, what this allows you to do is to actually download the data that you see in your view so that you can add it to either ArcGIS Pro, which is the desktop GIS product, or ArcGIS Online. So if I would download this, I could add it to a map, and it lets me select, exactly what tile I want, because the data is in tile. So I would select the one that I want and the year that I want, and then I can download that GeoTIFF. And then when I add it to ArcGIS Pro, it will, because it's a GeoTIFF, it has coordinate system information, it will line up with all your other data. So that might be a little bit beyond what we're going to be doing in this course, but it's just something to mention. But what we will be doing in this course is using ArcGIS Online. So if we click Publish to ArcGIS, we can create a web map with this data. So I would simply click Create Web Map, and it tells me map is ready. And now if I go to open the web map in Map Viewer, which is the product where we create web maps and set up our maps and so forth, we can see that we have the data available in here for our use. And if we scroll out, you can see what the coverage of that data set is. So it's a pretty neat way of getting data that you might want to use for your web maps and getting it just really fast and easily. And then over here, you can also be looking at the imagery associated with this area. And it says here is to zoom in to enable the Sentinel-2 imagery. So I'm zooming in, and this will take just a moment or two. And there we have the imagery for the Sentinel-2 program. And that imagery that you're seeing is what the land cover data is based off of. So that's the Sentinel-2 Land Cover Explorer. Alternatively, we have the option of using the National Land Cover Database Land Cover Explorer, which is a product from the USGS, the United States Geological Survey, and this program began back in 1985. So we have about 40 years of coverage for this, which is really cool. And if you click on About the App, it will tell you what it allows you to do. And again, it's a good idea to click on the metadata for the layer so that you can better understand what the data is showing, what the time period is, and what the attributes mean. So if we come down here, we can see the different land cover classes that are associated with this data set. And we can see that this is different than the land cover that was associated with Sentinel-2. So going back then to the app and pretending that we read this all very carefully, we can come back here and notice that it looks almost exactly like the Sentinel app. It's just that it's just using a different data set. So really it's the question of what data suits your needs the best for what you're trying to show. So all of these things are the same, like how you would can create an animation, how you can publish it to ArcGIS Online, how you can click on one particular class to isolate it to look at its spatial extent, and then the land cover totals that are within the view that you're looking at. And just the same, you can do a swipe map here, and you can also look at imagery here. The thing with the imagery here is that you're looking at Landsat imagery. Now, Landsat imagery is a product of the United States Geological Survey and NASA. It's a dual project of theirs that started back in 1972. So we have over 60 years of continuous satellite imagery of Earth because of the Landsat program. And what you can do with that data, as you learned in a previous video, is that you can render it by different bands. And here we have the natural color that you can render it by. And again, it's telling me to zoom in. So I'm going to listen to it. And now we have natural color. So this is like the aerial, like this is what we're used to looking at when we see aerial photography and satellite imagery. But you can also render it by using shortwave infrared, which is basically using bands 6, 5, and 2 so that the bright green areas are showing vigorous vegetation, while the dull green is more stressed vegetation. And you can explore all of these different renderings here and to see what they're able to show you. For example, color infrared, the bright red areas are healthy green vegetation, and the more duller red is more stressed. And so you can also look at the shortwave infrared here. You can look at the normalized difference vegetation index, which shows vigorous vegetation as dark green, and stressed vegetation or bare ground as more brown. So lots of different options in this particular app. But that's an overview of the Sentinel-2 and the National Land Cover Dataset Explorer apps. Really useful apps for anybody that wants to look at change over time and different phenomena associated with land use and land cover.